Hi Anthropology 2300, this is Kirsten with your video for week 12 of the course, which covers sex, gender, and culture. The agenda for this week's video will cover the following topics. First, there will be some brief background information about what you're going to be reading about in Blackboard. A quick reminder that you also need to read Ember and Ember, Chapter 10. I'm also going to provide you with the discussion questions that are related to the Herrick and Husseini articles. Lastly, I want to just give you a couple of housekeeping reminders. Okay, first, the Blackboard lesson objectives that I'd like you to keep in mind as you're reading through the Blackboard material, the Ember chapter, and both of the articles are as follows. 1, what is the difference between sex and gender, and why do we make that distinction? 2, are there really only two sexes? And 3, how do the lives of men and women vary around the world? Some of the background information that you're going to read about in Blackboard is as follows. First, what is the difference between sex and gender? Is it just an issue of biology versus societal norms, or is it something else depending on where you're located in the world? Second, you're going to read about some cases in which there are more than two genders in a given society. One example of this is the Anth and Oman, which you will read about. Another one, which actually isn't in Blackboard, which is something I've taught my anthropology students about in the past, is the Fa'afafini in Samoa, who are actually biologically, according to American definitions, men, but who are raised as women. And the last topic that you are going to read about is intersexuality, and there are several different examples, two of which cover the Olympics and some of the questions that have come up in regards to who can participate. And some of you may know the recent story about one of the boxers who was actually biologically born a male, but who has undergone physical changes and has been trying to fight within the female boxing world. Okay, now for the discussions. The first article you're going to read is Herrick, Sexual Orientation Differences as Deficits. The first prompt has to do with the role of psychology. Number 1, describe the role that psychology has played in justifying and perpetuating heterosexism prior to 1978. The second question, which is about psychology, is discuss how psychology reached a consensus that homosexuality is not a mental illness and how it committed itself to undoing the harms that the illness model had inflicted on sexual minorities. The second prompt that you have an option to answer is in regards to raising children. First question is critique Herrick's points about the differences, if any, in raising children in homosexual versus heterosexual homes. What evidence does he cite? The second question is take a look at the article, The Supreme Court, Gay Parenting and Science, that I've provided the link for you in Blackboard. Analyze what you feel are the strengths and weaknesses of the article. In particular, pay attention to the data methods and data collection methods and see if you think that those are valid and reliable. And at this point, I also wanted to point out with this topic in particular, the last 2 semesters that I've been a teaching assistant for this course, this is one of the topics that tends to get a little more controversial or heated on the discussion boards. So I'd like to just give you a reminder to please be mindful and respectful of other people's opinions when you post. The third prompt that you have the option of responding to for Herrick is stigma in American culture. First, describe what evidence you see in American culture that a stigma against homosexuality exists. Second, describe what evidence you see in American culture that the stigma against homosexuality is decreasing. Third, take a look at the video clips with the article Magic Johnson's Latest Big Assist, Helping His Gay Son Come Out, and this actually came out earlier this week. What role, if any, do you think figures in the media and popular culture have in helping to reduce the stigma against homosexuality? And then, as always, when you are given these different discussion prompts to answer, you have the option of prompt number 4, which is student interest in the article, in which you can post anything else that was of interest to you. The second article for this week is Husseini Murder in Oman. The first prompt that you are going to be given gives you a link to an interview that Husseini gave several years ago. And what I'd like you to do is read through the interview and answer the 3 questions that go with it. First, explain what Husseini meant by the statement, honor killings are a part of culture, not a religion. Second, describe the rationale behind why the honor killings take place. Third, analyze how Husseini's work has helped advocate for change for women in Jordan. You're going to see that she had a bit of a change in what her intent was when she was sent to report on it. Prompt number 2 is honor killings in Pakistan. And I wanted to give you a little bit of advance notice or warning that some of the information in the video is a little bit graphic, so just be forewarned about that. And what I'd like you to do is watch the video. It's from Channel 4 News in London, and the questions that go with it are, number 1, what reasons are given as to why Haq's wife Nargis and his children were killed? 2, analyze whether you feel these honor killings are because of religious or cultural beliefs. 3, discuss what role, if any, the Pakistani government has in reducing or eliminating honor killings. And then connect that to the United States. Should we take any role, or is this something that the Pakistani government and people need to handle? Prompt number 3 for Husseini talks about honor killings in Canada and some culture clashes that have occurred. There is an article that I would like you to read if this is the prompt that you choose to reply to. It's called "You Have No Place in Civilized Society. Muslim Family Jailed for Life After Despicable Honor Killing of 3 Teenage Daughters Who Dared to Date Boys." And this is from January of last year, and some of you may be familiar with this case as well. The first question is, describe how the 3 daughters dishonored their family. And second, actually references a quote that's in the article. And what the author wrote was, in recent years, a number of so-called honor killings have prompted debate about absorbing immigrants into the mainstream and dealing with culture clashes between immigrant parents and their children. And what I'd like you to do is compare and contrast the two sides of the debate in this example from Canada. Okay, and then prompt number 4, should you choose to take that challenge, is any other interest you may have had from the article. Okay, lastly, just some housekeeping items. First, and I don't have this on the screen, but just some technology reminders. If you are having issues with the quizzes, because a few of these came up this past week, please take a print screen right away, and please contact the help desk right away and open up a ticket. Once you've actually opened up the ticket, forward that information to whoever your TA is. As a reminder, I work with students with last names A through LI, and Brett works with the other students through Z. So send us what your ticket number is, and then any resolution that the help desk sends you, so that we can take a look into it further and help you solve whatever the issue may be. And I apologize, my dog is shaking in the background. Then another reminder for the posts. We had quite a few people this past week rather, that only posted either one discussion post, or they did the original, not the response, or response, not the original. So just remember to keep on top of the discussions and the due dates. And as a reminder, the original responses are due by Monday night at 11:59 p.m. Central. The response posts are due at 11:59 p.m. Central on Wednesdays. And then another quick reminder is just remember to have 3 substantive sentences minimum for each of your posts. And just remember things like "I agree" or "That's a great point" don't count towards that sentence. What you really need to do is put some detail and some specific information in your posts. And we will see you on the discussion boards, and have a great week. Take care.